I don't even want that. Like, no. Hey guys, it's BraShannah, and if you can tell by the title, today I will be doing a story time for you guys, and this story time is like a huge life lesson, y'all. So if y'all don't listen to anything I preach on here, if y'all don't listen to anything any female, most importantly female of color, tells you, please be sure to listen to this so that you don't need a man for nothing. Okay guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I purchased three cars, and how my third car was my official first car. So let's wind it back to, I want to say 2018. If I'm not correct, then the correct year will be down here at the bottom. So this is going on to the summer. I got an internship and I was hyped. Like, I was a psychology major back in undergrad. So getting internships any type of way for things that you like is very hard. So I received an internship in a city that was about 30 minutes away from where I live, and I needed a car. I needed a car. So me being who I am, I'm very independent. I don't like to ask people for anything. Like, and that's kind of a good thing and it's kind of a bad thing. Sometimes in life when you need help, it's okay to ask for help. I, on the other hand, I did not ask for help, and I was like, I got this. I don't know anything about cars. I don't know anything about purchasing cars. I don't know how much cars are supposed to cost. I don't know any of that. So I was going on like sites that everyone knows. Like, you have your OfferUp, you have your Let Go, you have your Facebook Marketplace, you have all of these places. You have used car dealerships down the street from your house. You have everything. There's so many options. And I knew I could not afford a car at a dealership. So I was like, let me just do my research and go out there and, purchase my first car. And so after a couple days, I found this car, and it was a blue Volkswagen Passat. If I have the picture, I'll show it right here. But this was my baby. I called her Blue Ivy, and y'all, when I tell y'all how much she cost, y'all would have been like, why didn't you return it? My car was $1,800. That's right, I paid $1,800 for that first car. So I met the guy. I was like, messaging him about the car, like, the usual, like, what's wrong with it, da, da, da. But black female, you already know that the white man ain't here to help us. So he played me. He told me nothing was wrong with the car. He actually, drives the car to go to work, everything like that. So I'm like, okay, cool, but I ain't that dumb. Let me test drive it, right? So he only took cash only. And at that point in time, I'm like, why you only taking cash? Like, I understand people are owed, but there's other ways to pay out here that you can actually track how you pay something. Cash, there's no receipt for anything. So we test drove from the location of where we got the car back to close to my house because I lived by my bank. So we went to the bank. We drove about 30 minutes in order for me to not only test drive it, but get the money out the bank. So I go all the way to the bank with this stranger in the passenger seat as I'm like driving, and everything feels fine with the car. I mean, I don't really hear anything. I never looked under the hood. I never checked anything. I just hopped in the seat, grabbed the keys, and was like, let me test drive this Jeep, see how it is, right? No. So I finally get all that money out the bank. My bank is like, is everything okay? I'm like, yes, I'm just, purchasing, my car, da da da. So I get the money out, I hand him the money, and he's like, but these my tags. I was like, excuse me? He was like, I'm gonna need my tags, so I'm gonna have to take the tags off. And I was like, I can't drive with no tags on the car. He was like, yes, I'm gonna have my insurance company get the tow company out here to tow it to your apartment. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he gives me a title to the car, and I'm like, okay, cool, get it towed to my apartment, boom. Next day, I go to the DMV, and I, try to get the car registered, try to get tags, and the DMV is like, this is not the title to the car. And I said, what you mean this is not the title to the car? They're like, the owner previously purchased a new title of February of this year. And mind you, at that time, it was like 4 months ago. I'm like, why didn't he give me the title that I need for this car? So as I'm like just freaking out, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to go to my apartment complex, figure it out. Boom. As I'm on the way home, my car starts smoking. It starts smoking. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So eventually, like, I would go places. Someone told me to actually get coolant in my car. So I went to go get coolant, and as I'm going to go get coolant, my car started smoking and stopping again. Smoking and stopping again. Smoking and stopping again. I promise y'all this happened like a good 4 times. 4 times. So eventually, I actually had to get the car towed to a shop. And then the shop stated that because I kept driving with an overheated car, something it needed a new transmission. If y'all don't know, like how I know now, a new transmission means a new car. If anyone tells you, hey, this car needs a transmission or anything related to the transmission, it's not a good car. You need a new car because transmissions cost the price of a car. So that car was done. I had someone that was actually an alumni at Virginia State University, as well as a professor who seen me, out with my car smoking, and he paid for my car to get towed. Thank God I'm still alive, because that situation was very scary. Like, your car is smoking up, your car can catch on fire. Like, with no coolant, your car can blow up. So thank God I'm here today, and that car was a no-go. It just needed so much work to it, and it sat at the shop for so long that it collected so much fees and so much, like when a car sits for a long time, fees add up, and the fees were outrageous on top of the new transmission. And that was just a dead car. So at that point, I had to do my internship virtually, and I had to do a lot more work, only being because I wasn't able to physically go there. But I really thank God for the opportunity that I had to have that internship regardless, and I thank God that I was actually able to still do the internship virtually. So all in all, it still worked out for the summertime, but I was just doomed. So my second car and my third car all actually happened within the past 2 months. So this year of 2020, I actually purchased another car, and it was a 2004 Honda Civic. And this car actually went with somebody, y'all. So I get this car, and I'm a stickler for signs. Like, if I'm trying to buy the car and something is happening, not necessarily with the car, but the way that everything is moving, like something is up. So I'm purchasing the car, and he's like, your card may not work in the little square trade card. Mind you, this is actually a place now, not somebody that's like, Facebook or OfferUp or anything like that. So he's like, some cards don't work. And in my head, I'm like, I got the best bank out here. What you mean? That don't got nothing to do with me, right? So I swipe my card. It don't work. I was like, excuse me? What you mean my card not working? So he was like, sometimes it just don't be working. There's other ways to pay. So at this point, I really need this car. I just graduated college. I need something. Like, I've been working my butt off, and it needs to finally pay off. Like, what you mean? So I ended up having to use like so many different ways to pay him. Like, one way I had to pay him was Zelle, right? And then you can't send so much money through Zelle. You can't send so much money through Cash App. This car, mind you, y'all, this car was a total of $5,000. $5,000, yep. So I had to pay $2,500 one way, $2,400 another way. And then because I already sent $2,500 in 1 week through Cash App wouldn't let me. So I thank God for the person that was actually with me at the time. They actually, gave them $100 for me. And I was like, that was pretty cool. So I ended up paying $5,000 for this car. And mind you, the initial reaction when my car declined, I was like, something's not right. Maybe this is God telling me, don't do it, sis. But I'm like, no, I just ain't want to listen. So then Cash App was saying all this. PayPal wasn't letting me log in. Since when does PayPal not let me log into my account? Like, that's all I was using in college, honestly. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So the same issue that happened with my last car happened to this car. And this car was like burgundy-ish color. I did not like it at all, but it took me to point A, point B. I was like, whatever. I can be cute and cutesy later on down the line when I got a lot of money to spend. And at this point, I don't. So at this point, I'm just like, whatever. I'll just, you know, make it cute later. So I ended up going to like the beach, and I was still in Virginia. I never really drove far, and out of nowhere, like my car would overheat. It would never smoke, but it would just overheat, and it would constantly need cooling all the time, but it would never smoke. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I got it from an actual place at this point in time. Boop, boop, boop. What are y'all gonna do? So I've had to I took my car to them twice. The first time, I'm like, okay, cool. I dropped it off, and it took them like 2 days or maybe to fix it, and I drive it again, it still doesn't work. And it only happened when I was at stoplights or stop signs. And where I lived from my apartment and my job, I had to use stop signs, but that shouldn't be a factor on whether or not you can have a car. Like, if you can't stop, then what's the point of having a car? Like, what? So the second time I take it, and this time, like, my car just won't go down. Usually it'll go up, it'll go down, go up, go down, like slowly. But this time my car will overheat, and it did not go down at all. So I call him up, and I'm mad. I'm like, look, like, my car keeps overheating. What are you gonna do? At this point, you need to let me trade the car in, or you need to, I didn't say give me my money back, but I was like, I need you to let me trade this car in. So the guy who I bought the car from tells me to go to another shop in another city. It's just so much. I'm just like, this is too much. So at this point now, I'm carless. I got a car to be able to get around, and I'm not getting around, right? So eventually I'm like venting to my family, and I'm like, y'all, like, this is just so irritating. Like, no. So the best thing is about having somebody that's a lawyer, honey, you get them out here. And you know, like, men that's like big and strong, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just tell you, like, they just go up there, they just handle business for you, right? They just handle stuff for you. So we got the lawyer, and we got boom, right? So who's scared of them? Like, what? No. Boom. So we go up there, y'all. We go up there. They're like, she not pleased with the car. Like, boom. Oh, at this point, I have my car, by the way. So we driving up there. Like, they like, she not pleased with the car. Like, you know, something gonna give. So he was like, well, we can trade it in for any of these cars over here. Car salesman, don't trust them. He was like, we can, you know, trade them in for all these cars over there, da, da, da. And I just looked at him. I was like, I don't even want that. Like, no. So I'm just like, I just want my money back. So he ends up sending me $2,500 back in Zelle, and then gives me another $2,500 in cash. And I'm just like, cool, I got my money back. And every situation is not going to be like that. Y'all really have to get, like, you either gotta scare them, or they just gotta be some people. Like, people are not going to give you your money back because all of a sudden you're not satisfied with a car, especially after 3 days. No. But everything was janky about the second place too, because when I got my sales information, like, everything was like flat. Like, it was flat, 00000. Like, they didn't charge me for like no title tags, no nothing. On top of that, they were just giving me the runaround about the title, everything. It was just crazy. Like, it just was no go. Red flags after red flags after red flags after red flags. No. So I get my money back, and I'm just like, BraShannah, it's time for you to be a big girl and get not only what you want, because no matter what, like, you have to drive this car. You have to drive something that you want and something that's reliable. At this time, I finally get a full-time job. I was just like, finally, like, you know, like, sometimes life just kicks you down and just kicks you down and just kicks you down. You're just like, when is it ever going to be my turn? So I was actually at a previous job that I hated. I was there for like 2 years. I couldn't stand them. That's a story time I ain't never gonna do, because you ever just have something that's like patched up, you just open that wound, it's like, dang, like, nah, we ain't even gonna do that. But my last job, I could not stand it after a while. So I got a brand new job, full-time, benefits, 401k, and all that. Holla at your girl, okay? So I finally got my job and working on my credit, and I'm like, girl, get you a call from the dealership. So I'm like, cool. So this one car I was gonna get, it was pure pearl white Nissan 2016, push to start. Test drove it. I was like, I'm in love. I ain't tell that to the car salesman, because if y'all don't know, like, if you really like a car and you there, never let them see that you really like the car, because at the end of the day, they still gotta sell that same car to everybody else that's interested as well. So I'm like, let me sit on it, right? You got to look up the Carfax, make sure that the car has a good history, look up all that, compare the type of cars that you want, which one is really worth it, is it gas efficient, all of that. So I get approved for a loan from my bank, and I'm like, okay, bet. I'm gonna use the money that I paid for the last car as a down payment and use my actual loan from my bank as the rest of the funds for the car, and make sure you get gap insurance. If you don't, now you know. So I'm on the way to the dealership to get this pure white Nissan Altima push to start. You couldn't tell me nothing. Bluetooth, all that. So we driving on the way to the dealership after I get off work one day. And he's like, oh, by the way, the car just sold out. I said, man, I was so mad. Like, if you were in a car with me that day, that's it. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm like, I don't even want a car at this point. I don't want nothing to take me home. Like, no. But then part of me, I'm like, BraShannah, you need a car. Relax. So I go to the dealership and I see my beautiful baby sitting out there. And we looking through the cars. And we just see this 2014 Honda Accord. I look at the miles. I said, that's it? That's it. Less than, well, not less than, but a little bit over 50,000 for $14,000. I said, oh, bet that. Like, I just had to. I was like, dang. So let me test drive her, right? Let me test drive her. So I test drive her. She ain't push the start, but she's still a beauty. You feel me? She Bluetooth. She backup camera. She all that, then some. Her name's Storm. And I ended up taking Storm home with me that day. And usually I don't really suggest, if you like a car, you look up the car. I did get the Carfax on the car. I like the car. You know, you just can't stop thinking about it, and you just take it home, buy right away. I don't usually ever suggest that, but in my situation, I was like, BraShannah, like, just do it. And at this point, I had like a good, like, itchy feeling, like it was just meant to be. Like, it was just meant to be. So I ended up buying the car. I got insurance with Progressive, and if you don't have Progressive, you need to get Progressive, okay? Period. So I ended up getting car insurance before I signed anything, because the dealership is not gonna let you take home no car without no insurance. And that's after thinking about it. I'm like, the other two cars, they didn't care if I had insurance, which is a big red flag as well. So I ended up signing the paperwork, which, by the way, purchasing the car takes like so long. I was in the dealership for like 3-4 hours. Like, it was just crazy. And my first picture, I was so excited. I'm gonna insert it right here, y'all. Like, it was just the best moment ever in my life. And I was just like, this just has to be crazy. They filled it up and everything. I'm like, this is really how it's supposed to be. Like, when you really have the car that's supposed to be for you and the car that's actually at the right place for you, everything is just gonna start flowing. It's all gonna start making sense, especially with the situations that I had back then. I'm just like, this is crazy. So when I got Storm, I was just like, yo, this is just amazing. But this whole entire story time was just to let you guys know how serious buying a car can really be. No matter who you have around you in your family, number one, I always suggest you guys to have somebody. I'm not saying that has to be a male figure, because as Black women today in this world, we are strong, okay? And there's Black women out here that got you, that's gonna have your back, and you don't need a man for nothing. So have somebody, it doesn't matter who they are, what gender they are, with you at all times, no matter if you're buying it from a dealership or buying it from somebody on the street, because people out here are crazy, and you have to have somebody that's knowledgeable about what you're buying, okay? So that's step one. Step two, look up that Carfax. You need to see how often they do oil changes, how many owners they've had, what is wrong with the manufacturer, all that. Look up the Carfax. And then step 3, 4, I don't know what I'm at, but a car that's for you is going to feel right for you. If you have some red flags about stuff that's not sitting right, it's not for you, okay? Thank you guys so much for sticking through to the end of this video. Make sure you like this video, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below how your first time buying your car was, because mine was clearly HE double hockey sticks, okay? And most importantly, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.